So these are the solutions to question 1 and question 2. If you don't have any questions, we'll proceed to the next one. Question 3. The absolute value of a number is less than 11. That means the distance between this number and 0 is less than 11, right? So this is equivalent to the number inside the absolute value symbol should be less than 11 and greater than minus 11, right? Okay, this is equivalent to, you can subtract 9 to both sides, which will give us minus 11 minus 9 less than 2x less than 11 minus 9, which is equivalent to minus 20 less than 2x less than 2, right? And then we can just divide a 2 to both sides because 2 is positive number, so we don't change the direction of the inequality symbols. So minus 20 over 2 is minus 10. Less than x, less than 2 over 2 is 1, right? So this is our final solution here. Okay, any questions? No? All right, let's see question 4. Question 4. The common denominator of 9 and 6 is 18, right? So we can multiply 18 to both sides of the inequality to eliminate the denominators. Okay, so because 18 is also a positive number, so we don't change the direction of the inequality symbol. So 18 times the left-hand side. Okay, do not change the direction here, and minus 3 times 18. And this is equivalent to expand the left-hand side, which is minus 2 sorry, 2 times minus 5. Sorry, there is a typo here. This should be minus 5 plus 7x. Okay, so left-hand side becomes 2 times minus 5 plus 7x. And subtracted by 3 times 5x plus 4. And right-hand side is minus 54, right? Okay, so this is equivalent to minus 10x, oh sorry, minus 10 plus 14x. And minus 15x minus 12, because minus 3 times 4 gives you minus 12, right? Less than or equal to minus 54. Then we can just separate x and constants. This is equivalent to, we can put all the x's to the right-hand side, which will give us x, and x is larger than or equal to minus 10, put all constants to the left-hand side, minus 12 plus 54. And this is actually equivalent to x should be greater than or equal to 32, right? Okay, have a look at question 4. Any questions? No? All right, let's see question 5. Okay, question 5, we have some expression in the denominator position, right? So first of all, the original expression is equivalent. First of all, we need to ensure that the denominator cannot be 0, right? So first of all, denominator is not 0. So as long as you ensure that denominator is not 0, that means the absolute value of -7 plus 8 must be positive, right? Because any absolute value of any number cannot be negative. Okay, so we know that this expression is positive. So the original expression is equivalent to, we can just multiply this absolute value to both sides because it is a positive number. So we don't change the direction of the inequality sign here, right? Just keep this direction. So 1 should be greater than or equal to 3 times the absolute value of -7x plus 8, right? Okay, so this is equivalent to, first of all, the absolute value of -7x plus 8 is not 0. That means -7 plus 8 cannot be 0, right? Okay, second, we can divide the 3 to both sides. This will give us the absolute value of -7x plus 8 should be smaller than or equal to 1 over 3, right? Remember that 3 is positive number, so we don't change the direction of the inequality symbol here. Okay, so next step is equivalent to, first expression is equivalent to x cannot be 8 over 7, right? This ensures that -7x plus 8 is not 0. Second, the absolute value of a number is smaller than or equal to 1 over 3. That means the distance between this number and 0 is smaller than or equal to 1 over 3, right? So this is equivalent to, this number here should be smaller than or equal to 1 over 3 and larger than or equal to -1 over 3, right? Okay, let's try to simplify this. First, just copy x cannot be the 8 over 7. Second, first of all, we can subtract 8 to both sides of the inequality. Okay, -1/3 subtracted by 8 is -25 over 3. Okay, so -25 over 3 here. And 1/3 subtracted by 8 is -23 over 3, right? Okay, so this is equivalent to first expression, just copy that. Second, we can just divide both sides with -7, right? Note that -7 is negative, so we need to change the direction of the inequality symbol. So -25 over 3 divided by -7, greater than or equal to x, greater than or equal to -23 over 3 divided by -7, right? And this is equivalent to x is larger than or equal to -23 over 21 and smaller than or equal to -25 over 21, right? And again, it is very helpful that you can verify, if you can verify the two limits here, the two boundaries here. this number should be smaller than this number, right? This number should be smaller. If you find this lower limit is larger than the upper limit, that means it's highly likely that you did this question wrong. Understand? Okay, any questions? Okay, so the common way of writing the final solution is this. It's like this. All right, there should not be a negative sign. Okay, the final solution is x should be within this interval, and of course x cannot be 8/7 because 8/7 is in this interval, right? If you draw a diagram, this should look like this. This is 23/21, and this is 25/21, and 8/7 happens to be 24/21, right? So must be somewhere in between. Here is 8/7, and this is our solution. So you need to remove this point here to exclude the point of 8/7, okay? This is our final solution. Don't have to draw the diagram. It only helps you to analyze if you have to include both expressions here. Okay, any questions? No? All right, let's see the next one. Question 6. Can just expand each term. Left-hand side gives us 30x plus 5 plus 4 greater than 7 minus 24 plus minus 4 minus x gives us 4x, right? Okay, and then we can separate x and the constants. 26x larger than minus 26. And this is equivalent to, we can divide both sides using 26, which gives us x to be greater than minus 1, right? So the final solution is x greater than minus 1. Okay, any questions? No? Okay, let's see question 7. Question 7, first of all, we can add a 7 to both sides, right? Minus 2 plus 7 greater, smaller than or equal to minus 2x. Smaller than 12 plus 7, right? And this is equivalent to 5 smaller than or equal to minus 2x less than 19. And then we can divide a minus 2 to both sides. And note that minus 2 is negative, so we need to change the direction of the inequality symbol, right? So this one is minus 5/2 greater than or equal to x greater than minus 19/2, right? Okay, so final solution usually will write the lower limit on the left-hand side. So x is greater than minus 19/2 and smaller than or equal to minus 5/2. Understand? Any questions? No? Okay, let's see question 8. Okay, question 8 is an inequality that involves x to the second. So we can move all the constants to the other side, which is 25x squared less than or equal to 9, right? Then we can divide both sides using 25. This will give us x squared less than or equal to 9/25. And this is actually equivalent to the square root of the left-hand side is smaller than or equal to the square root of the right-hand side. Note that square root of something squared is actually equivalent to the absolute value of the number inside, right? So this is equivalent to the absolute value of x smaller than or equal to the square root of 9 over 25, which is 3 over 5, right? Okay, so that means the absolute value of x is smaller than or equal to 3 over 5. That means the distance between x and 0 is smaller than or equal to 3 over 5. This is equivalent to x must be smaller than or equal to 3 over 5 and greater than or equal to minus 3 over 5, right? So the final solution is this interval here. Any questions? No? Okay, let's see question 9. Again, that involves something squared, right? First of all, we can divide both sides using minus 3. Minus 3 is negative, so we need to change the direction of the inequality symbol here. So larger than becomes smaller than or equal to. And left-hand side is 4x plus 6 to the second. Smaller than or equal to minus 9 over minus 3 is 3, right? Okay, so this is equivalent to the square root of the left-hand side is smaller than or equal to the right-hand side. Because both of the left-hand side and right-hand side is non-negative, right? And this is equivalent to the absolute value of 4x plus 6 is smaller than or equal to square root 3, right? Okay, so this means the distance between 4x plus 6 and 0 should be less than square root of 3. So that means 4x plus 6 should be smaller than or equal to square root of 3 and should be larger than or equal to minus square root of 3, right? And then we can subtract both sides using 6. This means minus square root of 3 minus 6 less than or equal to 4x less than or equal to square root of 3 minus 6, right? And then we can divide both sides with a 4. 4 is positive, so we don't change the direction of the inequality symbol. So this is equivalent to minus square root of 3 minus 6 over 4, smaller than or equal to x, smaller than or equal to square root of 3 minus 6 over a 4, right? This is our final solution. Okay, any questions regarding question 9? No? All right, let's see question 10. Again, this is an inequality that involves something squared, so we can consider separate the square, separate x and the constants. So we can divide both sides using 3. The original inequality is equivalent to 8x minus 4 squared less than or equal to 21 over 3 is 7, right? And because both sides are non-negative, so this is equivalent to the square root of left-hand side is smaller than or equal to the square root of the right-hand side. And this is equivalent to the absolute value of 8x minus 4 is smaller than or equal to square root of 7, right? And this means the distance between 8x minus 4 and 0 is less than or equal to square root of 7, right? So this is equivalent to this number here. Must be smaller than or equal to square root of 7, and at the same time should be greater than or equal to minus square root of 7, right? This is equivalent to, we can add a 4 to both sides. So 4 minus square root of 7 smaller than or equal to 8x smaller than or equal to 4 plus square root of 7, right? And then we can divide both sides using 8. 8 is positive, so we don't change direction of the unequal symbol. So 4 minus square root of 7 over 8 smaller than or equal to x smaller than or equal to 4 plus square root of 7 over 8. This is our final solution. Okay, this is the final solution here. Any questions? No? Are we good? Okay, let's see question 11. Question 11, at first glance, we'd like to eliminate all the denominators to make the question seems a little bit easier, right? So we can consider multiply both sides using the least common multiple of 3 and 5, which is 15, right? Okay, so multiply 15 to both sides. 7 times 15 smaller than 15 times 2/3 plus 8 over 5x smaller than or equal to 14 times 15, right? Okay, so 7 times 15 is 105, smaller than 10 plus 24x smaller than or equal to 14 by 15 is 210. Okay, and then we can subtract 10 to both sides. 95 less than 24x less than or equal to 200. Next, we can divide both sides with 24. 24 is positive, so we don't change the direction of the inequality symbol, right? So 95 over 24, smaller than x, smaller than or equal to 200 over 24, can be simplified to 25 over 3. And this is our final solution. Right, any questions? No? All right, let's see question 12. Question 12 is very similar to the previous question. First, we can multiply the least common multiple of 5 and 9, which is 45, to eliminate the two denominators to make this problem a little bit easier, right? Okay, so minus 4 times 45 less than 45 times 9 over 5 plus 1 over 9x smaller than or equal to 8 times 45. And this is equivalent to minus 4 times 45 gives us minus 180. Less than 45 times 9 over 5 is 81 plus 5x smaller than or equal to 360, right? And this is equivalent to we can then subtract both sides is 81. So minus 261 less than 5x less than or equal to 279. And then divide both sides using a 5. 5 is positive, so we don't change the direction of the inequality symbols. This will give us minus 261 over 5 less than x less than or equal to 279 over 5. And this is our final solution. Okay, have a look at this. Any questions? Okay, if you don't have any questions, let's proceed. This is the first half of the assignment. The second half is about questions that involve a system consisting of at least two expressions, two inequalities. Question 13. Original system consisting of two inequalities is equivalent. We need to solve them one by one, right? The first one, we can add a 9 to both sides. This will give us 0 less than or equal to minus 5x less than or equal to 7 plus 9 is 16. Okay, second, a number. The absolute value of a number is less than 8. This is equivalent to the distance between this number and 0 is less than 8, right? So this is equivalent to this number inside the absolute value symbol must be smaller than 8 and greater than minus 8. Remember? Okay, so this system is equivalent to, first we can divide both sides using minus 5. Minus 5 is negative, so we need to change the direction of the inequality symbol, right? Okay, so 0 over minus 5 is still 0. And here is x. 16 over minus 5 is minus 16 over 5. Okay, second part of the system. 2x minus 1, so we can add a 1 to both sides. Minus 8, adding a 1 is minus 7. Less than 2x. Less than 8 plus 1 is 9, right? Okay. Next step, this is equivalent to, first of all, x should be greater than or equal to minus 16 over 5 and smaller than or equal to 0. Second, we can divide both sides with 2. This will give us 2 is positive, right? So we don't change the direction of the inequality symbols. So x should be larger than minus 7 over 2 and smaller than 9 over 2, right? Next, we need to combine these two solutions. To do this, we can draw a number axis to help us analyze if we can combine these two solutions. First of all, we have minus 16 over 5 and 0, right? This is the first solution, minus 16 over 5 to 0, inclusive. Okay, second, minus 7 over 2. First of all, we need to know where is this number? What's the relative position to the existing two numbers? So minus 16 over 5 is about 3.2, right? And minus 7 over 2 is minus 3.5. So this number is smaller than the established smaller number. So minus 7 over 2 should be somewhere here, right? This is the smallest number of the four numbers. And we have another boundary, which is 9 over 2. 9 over 2 is, of course, greater than 0, so it should be somewhere here, right? Okay, so this is the relative position of the four numbers here. Okay, second solution is from minus 7 over 2 to 9 over 2. So X should be satisfied. X should be satisfying both conditions, right? So the overlapped area here is our final solution. That means X should be larger than or equal to minus 16 over 5 and smaller than or equal to 0, right? This is our final solution. Any questions? No? Okay, let's see question 14. Okay, original system is equivalent to, first, we can move 8x to the right hand side. So 8x should be smaller than minus 9 minus 7, which is minus 16, right? Second, we can eliminate the denominators by multiplying the least common multiple of 2 and 5, which is 10. So this will give us 5 times 3x plus 9, subtracted by 1 greater than or equal to 2 times minus x minus 2, right? Okay, so this is equivalent to, first inequality is equivalent to x smaller than minus 2, right? We can get there by dividing both sides with 8. 8 is positive, so we don't change the direction of the inequality symbol. Second, we can have 15x plus 45 minus 10 greater than or equal to minus 2x minus 4, right? Okay, so this is equivalent to, first of all, x should be smaller than minus 2. Second of all, 17x should be greater than or equal to minus 39. And this is equivalent to x should be smaller than minus 2, and x should be greater than or equal to minus 39 over 17. Okay, so can we combine these two solutions? To check this, we need to determine the relative positions of these two numbers, which is larger, right? So minus 39 over 17 is around minus 2.294 something, right? So minus 39 over 17 is a smaller number. Okay, so here is minus 39 over 17. And here is minus 2, right? The solution says x should be larger than minus 39 over 17 and smaller than minus 2. So the final solution is x should be greater than or equal to minus 39 over 17 and should be smaller than minus 2. This is our final solution. All right, any questions? No? Okay, let's see question 15. Question 15. A regional system consisting of two inequalities is equivalent to, first of all, we can add an 8 to both sides, which gives us 17 smaller than or equal to minus 6x, smaller than or equal to 24, right? Okay, next, the absolute value of a number is larger than 10. That means the distance between 0 and this number should be greater than 10, right? So this is equivalent to either this number is larger than 10, or this number can also be smaller than minus 10, right? Because the distance between minus 10 and 0 is also 10, right? So this number can also be smaller than minus 10. Okay, so this is equivalent to the first inequality. We can divide both sides using -6. -6 is negative, so we need to change the direction of the inequality symbol. Okay. And this is equivalent to -17/6, larger than or equal to x, larger than or equal to 24 over -6 is -4, right? Okay, next, -8x -4 larger than 10 is equivalent to -8x larger than 14, or -8x can also be smaller than -6, right? Okay, this is equivalent to, first of all, x should be greater than -4, smaller than -17/6. Next, x can be smaller than 7/4. Sorry, this should be negative. Negative 7/4. Or x can also be smaller than, sorry, larger than 3/4, right? Okay, then we need to see if we can combine these two solutions. First of all, we need to decide the relative positions of the four boundaries. So first solution is from -4 to -17/6, right? This is the first solution. Next, -7/4. -7/4 is about -1.75, right? And -17/6 is about -2.83 something, right? So which one is larger? Of course, -7/4 is larger, right? So -7/4 should be the largest number of these three existing numbers on the number axis, right? And we also have x can be larger than 3/4. Apparently 3/4 is the largest of the four numbers, right? Because this is the only positive numbers of the four numbers here. Okay, so the relative positions of the four numbers, four boundaries, is illustrated on the number axis. First solution is this interval. Second solution is x can either be smaller than -4/7 or greater than 3/4, right? Note that x should satisfy both conditions. So the final solution is the overlapped area. Overlapped area is here, right? So the final solution is x should be greater than or equal to -4. And x should be smaller than or equal to -17/6. Okay, any questions? No? Okay, let's see the next one. Question 16. What is the possible range of A such that the system of these two inequalities has no solutions? Okay, so this means x, by solving this system, we can get that x should be smaller than a number and larger than another number, right? If these two numbers have this relative position, there is no solutions, right? That means the lower limit. If the lower limit is smaller than the larger limit, there is no solutions. So let's see if we can achieve this. So original system is equivalent to, first let's try to solve this. Okay, first inequality, we can divide both sides with -6, right? So -6 is a negative number, so we need to change the direction of the inequality symbol. X is smaller than a plus 3 over -6. Second, we can divide both sides with -2, right? Again, -2 is negative, so we need to change the direction of the inequality symbol. X is larger than 5a minus 2 over -2, right? Okay, so now we have two numbers. This is the upper limit, and this is the lower limit, right? So can you imagine under what circumstance there is no solution for x? Of course, we can draw a number axis to help us analyze this, okay? If the upper limit is here, and lower limit is here. That means x is smaller than this number and larger than this number. So under this circumstance, there is no overlapped area, right? So in this situation, there is no solution for x. So what does this mean? This means when a plus 3 over -6 is smaller than or equal to 5a minus 2 over -2. When this happens, then, okay, when this happens, no solution for x. Understand? Dora, can you follow me? Okay, so I hope you don't make any make any mistakes to a question like this, okay? Both of you should learn how to analyze this problem. Pay attention which is the upper limit and which is the lower limit. Okay, so we call this star. Star is equivalent to, you can try to solve this inequality, right? You can time a 6 to both sides. Left hand side becomes -a minus 3. Right hand side becomes minus 3 times 5a minus 2, right? This is equivalent to -a minus 3 smaller than or equal to minus 15a plus 6. Okay, so we can put we can put minus 15a to left hand side. This will give us 14a. And 14a is smaller than or equal to 9, right? And then we can divide both sides with 14. So final solution is a is smaller than 9 over 14. Okay, so the conclusion is when a is smaller than or equal to 9 over 14, there is no solution for x. Okay, usually we'll make the conclusion at the last. in the end. When a is smaller than or equal to 9 over 14, there is no solution for x. Okay. Any questions? No? Okay, let's see question 17. Okay, question 17, we have x or unknown quantities in both numerator and denominator. In this case, do not multiply 5x minus 4 to both sides because you don't know the sign in front of it. It could be positive or negative, right? So in this case, put everything on one side, for example, left-hand side, and rewrite the expression using the common denominator, which is 5x minus 4. Okay, 5x minus 4 over 5x minus 4, smaller than 0, right? And this is equivalent to, next, we can expand and combine the numerator. Minus x plus 2 minus, pay attention here, minus 6 times 5x is minus 30x. And minus 6 minus 4 gives you 24. Understand? This should be positive 24, not negative. Can you follow me, Dora? Because you made a mistake here. You see why? Okay, good. And over the common denominator, which is 5x minus 4, smaller than 0, okay? And this is equivalent to, let's try to simplify the numerator, which is minus 31x plus 24, right? Yeah, 26, right? Over 5x minus 4, smaller than 0. Okay, so what does this mean? A ratio between two numbers is smaller than 0. Smaller than 0 means is a negative number, right? For example, minus 3 over 2 is a negative number. 2 over minus 4 is also a negative number. 2 over 3 is not a negative number. Minus 2 minus 3 is not a negative number, right? So this means the sign in front of the numerator and denominator should be different, correct? So this problem is equivalent to, we can either have the numerator is a negative number, and at the same time, the denominator is a positive number. Then the ratio would be a negative number, right? Or you can also have a second case, which is the numerator is a positive number. And at the same time, the denominator here is a negative number, right? As long as the sign in front of the two numbers are different, the ratio should be a negative number, right? Okay, then we can try to solve these two new systems. First system is x should be larger than 26 over 31. Second, x should be larger than 4 over 5. And then on the next step, we can try to combine this, right? Or we can also have x is smaller than 26 over 31. And x should be smaller than 4 over 5, right? Okay, first of all, if you want to check if you can combine these two solutions, Remember that we need to determine the relative positions of these two numbers, right? Okay, so again, we can use the number axis to help us illustrate this problem. 26 over 31 is about 0.8387 something, right? And 4 over 5, of course, is 0.8, right? So which one is larger? Of course, 26 over 31 is larger, and 4 over 5 is smaller, right? So the relative positions of these two numbers should be like this. 4 over 5 should be to the left of 26 over 31, right? Okay, so can we have a combined solution in the first system? First system says x should be larger than this number and larger than this number, right? So what is the overlapped area? The overlapped area is, of course, x should be larger than the larger number, right? So x should be larger than 26 over 31. This is the solution of the first system. Second system is x should be smaller than larger number and smaller than the smaller number. Where is the overlapped area? It's here, right? So when you have a combined solution like this, final solution is x should be smaller than the smaller number, right? So x should be smaller than 4 over 5. And remember that this is our final solution. Okay? Any questions? Final solution is x could be either greater than 26 over 31, or x can also be smaller than 4 over 5. Any questions? No? Okay, let's see the next one. Question 18, which is very similar to the previous question. First of all, when you have unknown quantities in the denominator, do not try to multiply the denominator to both sides because you don't know the sign in front of it. That means you don't know whether you need to change the direction of the inequality symbol, right? Instead, we put everything on one side of the inequality and rewrite the expression using the common denominator. So -4 times 2x minus 5 over 2x minus 5 greater than 0, right? And this is equivalent to 9x plus 3 subtracted by -4 times 2x. So this is actually like this, right? -4 times 2x minus 5. Dora, can you tell me what is the result? It should be -8x plus 20, right? Because when you distribute -4 inside the square, the brackets, -4 times -5 gives you plus 20, not negative 20, okay? Pay attention here, -8x plus 20. Thank you very much. Next time, please do this slowly, okay? If you are not familiar with this, you can just do them slowly, okay? Because once you got an error here, you cannot get the result at the end, okay? Early errors is not something we want. Okay, 2x minus 5 is the denominator, and this should be greater than 0, right? And this can be simplified to x plus 23 over 2x minus 5 is greater than 0. Greater than 0 means a positive number, right? If a ratio of two numbers is a positive number, that means the two numbers, the signs of the two numbers should be the same, right? So we can either have a positive numerator and at the same time a positive denominator, or we can have a negative numerator and at the same time a negative denominator too. Understand? Okay, then we can try to solve these two systems separately. First system is x should be larger than minus 23 and x should be larger than 5 over 2. You can easily see that because 5 over 2 is greater than minus 23, so the overlapped area must be x is larger than the larger number, right? So this is something we want. Or x is smaller than minus 23 and x is smaller than 5 over 2. And this time, minus 23 is smaller than 5 over 2. So the combined result is, of course, x is smaller than the smaller number, right? This is the overlapped area. So the final result is x is either larger than 5 over 2 or x is smaller than minus 23. Any questions? Okay, please have a look at this. Any questions? Let me know. No questions? Okay, let's see question 19. Okay, question 19 is similar to the previous questions. The only difference is there is an equality sign here, right? When you have an equality sign here, the solution is a little bit different. So let's see what's the difference here. Okay, again, we put everything on one side. The original inequality is equivalent to 6x plus 1 over 7x plus 8 minus 5 times 7x plus 8 over 7x plus 8. Okay? And greater than or equal to 0. This is equivalent to, what is numerator? Numerator is 6x plus 1 minus 35x minus 40, right? Over 7x plus 8 greater than or equal to 0, right? And this is equivalent to minus 29x minus 39 over 7x plus 8 greater than or equal to 0, right? Okay, so now we need to consider this problem separately. First of all, if this expression can be greater than or equal to 0, that means this expression first can be equal to 0, right? Or this expression can also be greater than 0. Understand? So this means the original problem is actually an equation and an inequality. This is equivalent to, for the equation, a ratio between two numbers is 0. That means the denominator, the numerator is 0, and at the same time, the denominator cannot be 0. Okay, this is the solution of the equation. Or when you have a ratio between two numbers is positive, this is actually the same with our previous two questions, right? You can either have a positive numerator and at the same time a positive denominator, or you can have a negative numerator and at the same time a negative denominator. Understand? Okay, so now let's try to solve these three systems. The equation gives us that x is minus 39 over 29, and x cannot be minus 8 over 7, right? Or x is smaller than minus 39 over 29, and x should be larger than minus 8 over 7. Or x should be larger than minus 39 over 29, and x smaller than minus 8 over 7, right? Okay, now let's see if we can combine these three solutions. First of all, x is minus 39 over 29. Of course, if x is this number, x cannot be at the same time minus 8 over 7, right? So the solution of this equality is, the solution of the equation is x can be minus 39 over 29, right? And for the inequalities, we need to check the relative positions of the two numbers, right? Okay, hint is minus 39 over 29 is about minus 1.345. And minus 8 over 7 is about minus 1.140. So which number is larger? To draw a number axis, here should be minus 39 over 29, right? This number is smaller. And this number minus 8 over 7 should be smaller, should be on the right side of minus 39 over 29, right? Okay, so when you have the relative positions of these two numbers, then we know how to combine the solutions, right? X is smaller than the smaller number and larger than the larger number. Of course, there's no solution for the second system, right? For the third system, X is larger than a smaller number and smaller than a larger number. Of course, the combined solution is X should be within this interval here. Okay? And by considering these three solutions, X can be exactly minus 39 over 29. Or X can also be within this region. So the combined solution is X can be larger than or equal to minus 39 over 29. And X must be smaller than minus 8 over 7. This is our final solution. Okay, any questions? No? All right, let's see the last one. Okay, last one, we can just follow the same principle. First of all, put everything on one side because you have x on the denominator. So put everything on one side and try to rewrite it using common denominator. Okay, this is equivalent to 4x over x plus 1 minus x plus 1 times x plus 1 over x plus 1, right? Smaller than or equal to 0. Okay, so the numerator is 4x minus x plus 1 squared, right? And denominator, of course, is x minus 1. Smaller than or equal to 0, right? Okay, so numerator is 4x minus, so let's do this slowly, okay? If you're not very familiar with this, my suggestion is to do this slowly, step by step. So according to the formula, the quick way to calculate this is x squared plus 2x plus 1, right? Do you still remember that there is a formula about this, right? A plus b squared is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Remember that? Okay. So denominator is x plus 1. All right. This is equivalent to 4x minus x squared minus 2x minus 1, right? Okay, pay attention here. The last term is minus 1, not positive 1, okay? Again, please do this slowly if you're not very familiar with this. Over x plus 1 should be smaller than or equal to 0. And this is equivalent to minus x squared plus 2x minus 1 over x plus 1 smaller than or equal to 0, okay? And this is equivalent to, note that this is a perfect square, right? We can just time a minus 1 to both sides. Okay, minus 1 is a negative number, so we need to change the direction here. Greater than or equal to 0, right? And minus 1 times the numerator is actually becomes x squared minus 2x plus 1, right? Can you recognize which formula should be used? In the next step. Okay, note that a minus b squared is what? Is a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, right? So can you tell me what is the numerator? You can input it in Zoom. You can input it in the Zoom dialog. Hello, both of you. X squared subtracted by 2x plus 1 is something squared, right? What is something? Can you recognize it? Is it x minus 1 squared? You follow me? Dora, Emily. Okay, so the numerator is actually x minus 1 squared, right? And denominator is x plus 1. And this ratio must be greater than or equal to 0, right? Okay, again, this can be detached into an equation and an inequality. First of all, this number can be 0. Second, this number or this ratio can also be greater than 0, right? Then we need to solve this equation and this inequality separately. Okay, first of all, the equation is equivalent to x minus 1 squared is 0, and we need to ensure that the denominator is not 0, right? This is the solution of the equation. Or the ratio is a positive number, means either the numerator and denominator are both positive number, or both of them are negative number, right? So this is equivalent to both of them are negative number, a positive number, or both of them are negative number, right? Okay, so for the equation, the solution is x minus 1 squared is 0, means x must be 1, right? And x plus 1 cannot be 0. That means x cannot be negative 1, right? And x minus 1 squared. Note that as long as x is not 1, something squared, if something is not 0, the squared of x minus 1 can always be positive, correct? Can you follow me? If x is not 1, that means x minus 1 is not 0. That means if a non-zero number squared can always be a positive number. Dora, can you follow me? Okay, so the solution of the first is x cannot be 1, and second is x must be greater than minus 1, right? Okay, so what is the solution of the third system? Do we still need to solve this or not? No, we don't need to solve this, right? Okay, I'll give you a hint. We do not need to solve this, because by first glance, some number squared is less than 0. This cannot happen, right? This means x cannot satisfy the first inequality. That means there must be no solution for the third system, right? So we can just directly write x belongs to an empty set for the third system. This can save you a lot of time, right? Because something squared cannot be below 0, meaning no solution for x. Okay. All right, so by combining these three solutions, what is the final solution? X can be either exactly 1, right? Or x can be above -1 and at the same time not 1. So what is combined result? The combined result is x is above -1, right? Because for the second solution, it says x cannot be 1, but the first solution says x can be 1. So by combining these two solutions, the final solution is x is above -1. Of course, x can also be 1, right? X being 1 is included in this interval. Okay, have a look at this. Any questions? Both of you, any questions? And I'll upload my notes onto Google Classroom, okay? Today's assignment 49. So if you have conducted mistakes, I hope you can try to correct them by yourself, okay? This is very important. And next time we'll focus on problems like in question 16 to question 20, okay? We are not gonna do much to the simple inequalities, but rather the last few questions, okay? Because I found some of you have committed a lot of mistakes there. So next time we'll focus on questions 16 to 20. And the next assignment is probably available tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I'll let you know, okay? Okay, if you don't have any questions, you're free to leave. Oh, okay, hold on. Our next lesson is next Saturday, okay? This Saturday, we don't have any lessons. And from next Saturday, we'll do 1 lesson per week. You know this? Okay, so after today, only 1 lesson per week, starting next Saturday, okay? If you don't have any questions, you are free to leave, okay? Have a good night.